Joe. We have number 11 Alabama going to Death Valley.
Yeah.
It's a night game again. You know what I'm saying? So that gives LSU some type of advantage. Don't you believe that the night games at LSU are a little bit different?
They believe that. I'm sure they believe that, yeah.
They're going to get that Boosie playing. Set it off. Set it off in this one. Yeah. So Alabama's a 3-point favorite in this game. But to me, it's a night game. It should be a pick 'em.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit different. But here are two quarterbacks who – some people think that they'll be in the 2025 draft. Some people think they'll be in the 2026 draft. I think they should both wait and come back in the 2026 draft.
It's
just
beneficial to both of them, long term.
But as far as right now, who is more NFL ready?
More NFL ready.
Between Jalen Milroe and Garrett Nussmeier.
Let me see my notes. If we dive into the stats right now, Nussmeier completing 62.5%, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Milroe 67.5%, 13 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So Nussmeier with the touchdown advantage. I'm just a Nussmeier fan, a Nuss truther. Yeah.
And I think that I'm gonna co-sign with you on this. And 3 weeks ago, I probably would have had a different answer.
Okay.
But just the way that Jalen Milroe has regressed in these last 2 games, like they've been bad.
He's shown you he needs to come back for another season.
He's shown you that he's not ready.
Yeah.
And to me, it's one of those things that I thought that, like in week 2, he kind of struggled, and then he just looked like, oh, Jalen Milroe has arrived.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we thought it was. We thought it was the breakout part.
And it's almost like I thought that he'd have these 3 games at the very beginning of the season, and then Jalen Milroe would arrive, and then he would just continue and build on that. But I didn't expect it to be a dip-off during the season. But it makes sense to dip off in SEC play. Against a defense like South Carolina, a defense like Tennessee. Guess what they have?
Great defensive linemen. Great, two of the better defensive lines in the entire country.
Is one of the most underrated defensive linemen in the country, the Georgia Tech transfer. And James Pierce Jr., he's a first-round lock. It doesn't matter how many sacks he has this season. Everybody saw the film of what he did last year. He's a first-round lock. Yeah, more so than
Jalen Milroe arising. Just a testament that Georgia's defense is not what it was 2 or 3 years ago, right? Yeah. Now, about this matchup, talking specifically about Jalen Milroe, remember against Texas A&M, which is one of LSU's 2 losses, their quarterback ran for 3 rushing touchdowns, and Milroe's a better running quarterback, arguably, than Reed.
Well, he's a better dual threat.
Yeah, but he could have that same kind of impact on this game this weekend.
Now, the one thing I do think they don't have the element of surprise that Texas A&M was able to do that. Because you're not. It's like they looked like we ain't ready for this at all.
And all they're coaching all week preparing for Milroe. Yeah, so that's a really good point. I think
that's a different. It's like, but even playing against Marcel Reese, that was kind of training in itself. But this guy's bigger, he's faster, and he's stronger, and he's a bigger threat with his arm, and he has better talent at wide receiver.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like, and I would not necessarily. Well, he has more talent at running back, but not a better talent than Le'Veon Moss, who's lost to the season this year.
Yeah,
it hurts me personally.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't. I don't talk about fantasy, but
it hurts. Okay, but as far as Nussmeier versus Milroe, like I co-sign with you. It's like son of a coach. So I think that he has it between the ears. He has it.
Yeah.
We don't know what it is, because even if you look at his best game of the season versus Jalen Milroe, it might not be better, but it's just he has these moments. Yeah. These moments to where it's like, it don't matter that I sucked this whole game.
Yeah, he locks in.
It's like I can lock in and get this play done and get this play done, and guess what? Now y'all go home with
It's that same thing. We just watched, like last night, Kansas City Chiefs and Buccaneers. We saw both Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes have those drives at the end of the games when it really, really matters. You can lock in when it really matters and help your team matriculate down the field.
Don't you love when they play? Does it always remind you of them playing in college?
Yes, it does.
That's one of the greatest college football games I've ever seen. Yeah. Probably right up there with Byron Leftwich versus
David Garrard. Yes.
That was a great game.
Yeah,
East Carolina versus Marshall. Look it up. There's no HD version of that, though. All right, but But to me, I just think that also another thing people need to look at about Nussmeier being more NFL ready, he plays in the exact same system as Jaden Daniels.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you're seeing Jaden Daniels' immediate success in the NFL.
So you can see and just copy what Kingsbury is doing with Daniels, and we can cut and paste and kind of do the same thing.
And you know what you have. And don't let his dad draft him. You know exactly what to do with him. Yeah. I do think, though, again with Milroe, he's still developing as a passer. And I just think another year under DeBoer's system, he could start to shatter he could put up the numbers that Michael Penix was putting up in Washington.
And to reiterate that, you probably said this last week, it's like he's in a new system this year. year, and we saw him take a leap, which you don't necessarily expect whenever you get into a new system, right?
Yeah, because I expected him to struggle like the first month of the season and then take the leap. So for him to have the early on success, that means that he's learned more than I thought. But whenever you have NFL talent rushing against you, and to me, Alabama, their offensive lines are usually overrated, or they're usually guys. It's like everybody's a tackle, but they all play.
Yeah,
so it's like you're not necessarily a good.
You love
tackle.
those 6'6" guards, 6'7" guards.
It's like your guards get beat like by 6'1" defensive tackles all day because you got all these left tackles starting on your offensive line.
Yeah.
So that's a spoil of riches that Alabama has. That Landon Dickinson would play left tackle for any other school. He's a center for y'all.
Yeah, and that's the one thing because people talk crap about Bryce Young's height. I'm like, he doesn't go to the NFL. His linemen are not taller than he goes to the NFL. If he could see over them in Alabama,
he saw over Landon Dickinson.
Yeah, if you can see over them in Alabama, he can see over them in the NFL. If he sucks in the NFL, it's just because he sucks. It's not because he can't see.
And to me, my whole thing is, you remember when I said him coming into the league, everybody asked me who he reminds me of. I'm like, he reminds me of Seneca Wallace. But I meant that as a compliment because I was saying, like, if Seneca Wallace was in today's football,
he would have got a shot.
A first round pick and would have got a shot.
Yeah.
But and to me,
and NIL, he would have transferred from Iowa State into a logo institution.
Yeah, would have went to USC and take over for Carson Palmer and would have been reckoned. And Matt Leinart would have had to chill for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or he would have transferred out because it's like they hate me because I'm left-handed. Yeah. But I do think that Milroe does have the higher ceiling between him and Nussmeier.
Without a doubt.
Just the dual threat ability, just against Alabama, against Georgia, what he did with his legs was just impressive alone. If you just even take away that Hail Mary throw. I just think that the talent's there. And I think that this year, if it's 2025 draft and they're both out there, it's Nussmeier and it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But 2026?
Yeah, let's see how he develops. Second year in the board system.
Because that ceiling, there's not many quarterbacks in college football with a higher ceiling than Jalen Milroe.